And then that what you see over there, it's a crack in a rock full of fuchsite, size of a dinner plate. You can maybe see some greenish stuff. This thing is mixed up with arsenic crystal of orpiment. I tried to get to it from the top, but it's too slippery, too dangerous. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see what fell off onto the ramp after they blasted.
Oh, rafts, rocks, they shine like the truth in the dust. Little treasures from the hills that he gathers up with trust. From a gets in the water to the geodes in the clay, he pockets bits of secrets that the world hides away.
Now, question to all of you out there. What crystal is this? Striations, gas bubble in a gneiss rock, but looks more like a cooked sandstone. Anyway, you never know what you're gonna get here along in Parry Sound. That's gonna be my friend for many years to come. I'm gonna come visit every so often. Yeah, so when you're looking for, I was kind of intrigued about story about hard rock gold deposits. They vary from, of course, type of hard rock we're talking about. Here we're talking about metamorphized gneisses, which originate with granites, rocks from very far deep. Gold likes to deposit itself along with quartzes. As you know, quartz veins in California famous for deposits of gold, except those rocks over there are volcanic origin, and because of seismic activity they create massive amount of cracks and cavities for liquids to follow. When you're talking about rocks of this hardness, alteration veins are very skinny, therefore could carry gold in theory, but unfortunately not in a quantities worth of mining. So you can see every so often there's a bubble of gas that was created and end up being a crystallized zone of quartz, magmatic calcite and amphibose. Now here we have a good example of vein, and this one is feldsparic vein, meaning there is no quartz, so it's very alkalic, and the heat of the magma intruded in this particular gap wasn't strong enough to alter the rock. Therefore, alteration zone is not existing because it didn't change any chemistry of this gneiss. So the temperature was equal or less than host rock. Let's see what else is here. Now here we have a little different situation. See that vein coming up, kind of attach itself to the cliff. That's a mostly quartz vein. And what other indicator of possibility of mineralization is the color, referred to as gossin, which was often used by prospectors to establish if there is going to be some sulfides. Sulfides, many of them will oxidize, especially pyrites. So rock like this would be proof of sulfides being carried by liquids. And mostly it's done by quartz intrusions, like this one here. You can see that particular liquefied quartz was hot enough to alter the surrounding rock and create all kinds of funny things, as you can see there, foliations and alteration of surrounding rock. So again, that was an indicator for prospectors who would look for gold in a hard rock environment. See, this is the edge that cooked the mother rock and so on. So that temperature is higher, and that zone indicates a little bit of sulfide presence. And then that what you see over there, it's a crack in a rock full of fuchsite, size of a dinner plate. You can maybe see some greenish stuff. This thing is mixed up with arsenic crystal of orpiment. I tried to get to it from the top, but it's too slippery, too dangerous. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see what fell off onto the ramp after they blasted. So guys, this is one of the best example of metamorphism in Parry Sound area that I've seen. Let's start with this heavy folded gneisses full of little lens of you can see them there. I'm gonna do a close-up later of amphiboles. But then you can see the tiny vein of quartz being squeezed into the crack of the rock, and as this vein continues, the room opens up, and the veins, as you can see, we follow, opens, finds a massive amount of room. So here we're talking about shear zone of quartz. That hot injection of quartz created alteration to the host rock, which in this case was those gneisses. So the heat created environment to many minerals to change, especially here. I can't believe everything is in this one little spot here. So you have so-called Gaussian, the staining, and of course that's where chalcopyrite is hiding. You can see the veins of it, and that eventually mixed with pyrite is going to create staining. Of course you have heavy concentrations of micas, most likely magnetite here too. There is I saw chlorite. Well, there is another sulfide here. This vein has everything, and this is why gold prospectors loved those veins, because that's a potential of carrying other metals. There's your chlorite. There's even a crystal, I believe, of chlorite here, and the vein becomes almost pegmatite because it has room to grow quartz. This is even pink quartz, which is so rare in this area. And then you have beautiful little bubble of magmatic calcite with fuchsite green mica mixed with biotite. So if you open this vein, this is chlorite, discoloration. If you would crack this vein open and start to seeing what's inside, you would find many interesting minerals inside there. So that is something really cool to see on the side of the road. This one I can show you because it's the side of the road. This is 400 going south, and that way is going north. Beautiful example of alteration vein in host rock. And of course, as this process of changing rock from one state to the other continued, we can see that we're dealing here with massive amount of pressure. Those layers of cracks are getting thinner and thinner, becoming deposited in a certain angle, as you can see. And of course, Mr. Garnet, ever present in Parry Sound, wants to go for a ride. So here it's starting to become more amphibole garnet filled veins. Oh look, there's even one almandine garnet here. Souvenir! And then continues, sometimes becomes a bubble which will crystallize with gases on the end of the process. And then sometimes you would have a again quartz. And basically this rock will tell you such a wonderful story of what was happening millions of years ago inside our planet crust. And of course there's a little bit of sulfide here. It's just it's like reading a book. Really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. See how much garnet is here. And then we have a weaker portion here. Again, garnets and amphiboles. Beautiful stuff. And there is a little vein of quartz. So you know that experience of being here for a few minutes for me was a piece of cake. That's my souvenir, and I'm leaving all the crystals back into the they belong, because they look so much better in this road cut than in my box somewhere in a shed. So in conclusion, guys, I brought a couple of tiny samples. This video I showed you wasn't really about collecting specimens, but what those veins can carry. I just brought a few examples to show you the sulfides presence. Like this is chalcopyrite mixed with bornite. There's another piece, nice piece to show you correlation with calcite in those veins, with a little bit of crystals of, again, some sulfides. So basically the rule is that if vein can carry sulfides, it will carry also other metals. That's a prospecting rule. Of course, in Parry Sound area, actually the deposit of McGowan mine is exactly such. It was a vein, quartz vein, chased in certain distance and contained a little bit of gold among the most of the copper ores. This is a nice example of green mica, again, fusicite with calcite, magmatic calcite on top. And this is something I told you that I found a big deposit of it up in a wall, and multiply this size by 10, and in those tiny cracks, I will prove it to you one day, there are tiny, beautifully crystallized arsenic crystals bearing arsenic. So again, this is the typical Gossan. This one is in a hornblende gneiss. The vein is actually missing here, but that was in a very similar environment as that road cut I showed you. And boys and girls, always remember that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Get my joke? So this is the eye of a hornblende that I found in the last portion of the video. Oh, that's kind of cake for formation of a rock. And if you like this content and like me to do more videos about Parry Sound, like probably it's going to be about McGowan mine itself, please like and subscribe and tell all crazy people about my channel. Thanks for watching.